You know, every single piece of fabric you touch, it has this kind of hidden code woven right into it. It's a blueprint that basically dictates how it feels, how it hangs, and how it holds up. So today, we're going to decode that blueprint and really get to know the three basic weaves: plain, twill, and satin. I mean, think about it for a second. Why does a crisp, airy cotton kurta feel so completely different from a pair of rugged, sturdy denim jeans? They could both be made from cotton, but honestly, their personalities are worlds apart. Well, the secret isn't just the thread itself. It's all about how those threads are put together.
All right, here's how we're going to break it down. We'll kick things off with the simple strength of the plain weave. Then we'll move on to the famous diagonal lines of the twill weave. After that, we'll get into the beautiful, lustrous float of the satin weave, and we'll wrap it all up with the big decision, the core trade-off every weaver has to think about.
So, first up, let's talk about the absolute foundation of the textile world, the plain weave. This is the OG, the simplest, and a lot of the time it's the strongest of them all.
Its structure is just super simple. Seriously, just picture a checkerboard in your head. One thread goes over, the next goes under, then over, then under, creating this perfect, tight little grid. That one over, one under pattern, that's the signature of a plain weave.
And that simple grid structure, well, it dictates everything. Because every single thread is locked in place by its neighbor, the fabric is incredibly strong and stable. It just doesn't want to get pulled out of shape. But, and there's always a but, right? The trade-off is that it can be a little stiff. It doesn't have a ton of drape.
So where do you actually find this workhorse of a weave? Oh, it's in all kinds of everyday fabrics, like muslin, cambric, and voile. It's absolutely perfect for a crisp shirt, a dress that needs to hold its shape, or those durable bed linens you've had forever. Basically anywhere you need reliability and a nice flat surface. Okay, so plain weave is strong. We got it. But what if you need that strength, but also a bit more flexibility? Well, that brings us right to our next structure, the twill weave. This is where a little bit of clever engineering creates a fabric that gives you the best of both worlds.
So here's the core difference. Remember that super tight grid in the plain weave with a maximum number of times the threads cross? Well, the twill weave just loosens things up a bit with fewer intersections. And that one little shift completely changes the character of the fabric. Instead of that simple over one, under one, the thread in a twill weave gets a little more adventurous. It'll skip over one yarn, then duck under two, maybe even more. And when that pattern is repeated row after row, bam! You get that unmistakable diagonal line that you can actually see on the surface.
And because there aren't as many of those tight crossover points, the yarns just have more room to move. This makes the fabric feel softer, gives it a much better drape, and, get this, even helps it resist wrinkles. And yet, it's still incredibly durable, all thanks to that clever diagonal structure.
You want to know the most famous example of a twill weave? It's probably your jeans. Seriously, take a close look at a pair of denims. You'll see that diagonal texture. That's what gives them that perfect combo of being tough enough for workwear, but flexible enough to be comfortable.
Now, what happens if we take that idea of fewer interlacements and just push it to its absolute extreme? Well, that's how you get the satin weave. This is a structure that's designed almost purely for beauty, smoothness, and shine.
The secret to satin is something called the float. See, in this weave, a thread will literally glide or float over many other yarns. We're talking 4, 5, sometimes even more, before it finally ducks under just one. This means there are very few crossing points, which creates these long, uninterrupted lengths of yarn right on the surface.
And those long floats, that's exactly what makes the fabric feel incredibly smooth and allows it to reflect light, giving satin its signature luster. But that's also its biggest vulnerability. With so few anchor points, those floating threads are kind of exposed, which makes them really easy to catch or snag.
So naturally, you'll find satin where luxury and appearance are the absolute top priority. Think about glamorous evening gowns, the beautiful sheen of a silk sari, or that smooth, comfy lining inside a really high-quality coat. It's all about that incredible look and feel.
Okay, so let's bring all this home. As you've probably seen by now, every weave is a choice. It's a balance between things you want but can't always have at the same time. It all comes down to what we call the weaver's trade-off.
You can see the pattern so clearly here. As you go from plain weave to twill and then to satin, the number of interlacements just drops from maximum to medium to minimum. And just look at the direct trade-off. As those crossings go down, so does the strength. But at the same time, the smoothness and shine just skyrocket.
So, if you take away just one thing from this explainer, let it be this. The weave is a sliding scale. More intersections equals more strength. Fewer intersections equals more smoothness and drape. It's a simple fact that you just can't maximize both at the exact same time.
So now you have the blueprint. You can read the hidden code in your very own clothes. Go on, take a close look at the fabric you're wearing right now. Is it a tight little grid? Can you see a faint diagonal line? Or is it perfectly smooth and shiny? Now you know exactly why. So, which weave are you wearing today?